Good evening, everybody. It's Maserati Sports. I'm going to give you a divisional wrap-up of the weekend games in the NFL. Great games all weekend. I mean, again, if you're a fan of football or NFL, I mean, you must feel proud. Me, myself, I was glued to the TV all the way throughout. I'm going to get into Saturday's games first, and then we're going to get into the games that were played today. The first game that was played Saturday was a wild contest between the New Orleans Saints versus San Francisco 49ers. We all know the 49ers hadn't been in the playoffs for years. It was a little bit, questionable how they would respond. The Saints, again, they were peaking at the right time. They had been playing wonderful ball. We know they had been knocked out a year previously in the wild card game against the Saints, and they were playing away from the dome. So we really didn't know what quite to expect. I did feel the Saints would win by a field goal. However, I must say, very impressed with the 49ers squad. I give Jim Harbaugh all the credit in the world. I give Alex Smith. I give Vernon Davis, Patrick Willis, everybody on the offensive line, the defensive line. They played lights out. I mean, they went tit for tat with New Orleans. They just had a little bit left. And most importantly, the surprising thing for me is what Harbaugh has done with Alex Smith. I would have never thought that he would play like he's playing this year. And I mean, again, even watching him yesterday, I was waiting for him to mess up in some kind of form or fashion. However, he was very clutch. He made that go-ahead score when he ran the bootleg. I mean, that was just, wow. Very, very clutch. So, again, the 49ers, man, they're the truth. They're real. They have an opportunistic defense. They hit you hard. They create turnovers. They keep pressure on the opposition because they find a way to score points. It's not really that they score a lot of points, but they somewhat manufacture points because their defense is so opportunistic and they create turnovers. So it's going to be a very interesting game next week when they suit them up in the NFC Championship game. Second game of yesterday I want to get into was New England Patriots versus the Denver Broncos. Now, again, I really feel like Denver really had no business being in the playoffs. They had a favorable schedule. They played in the AFC West, which is not the best, which is not the toughest, not the toughest region as far as division. I mean, again, they played a lot of cupcakes, and they just kind of backed in. But again, they beat the Steelers last week. Give them a lot of credit, but it came to a screeching halt last night. I mean, Tom Brady obliterated those boys. And Tim Tebow, he was just lost. Again, he's a novelty. Like I've always said, you'll see throughout his career, he'll struggle consistently. He'll have one good game, and then the next week, it'll look like he's playing, high school football or sandlot football. Totally out of sync, totally lost. Didn't have a clue, didn't know what to do. And again, Bill Belichick is always, when it comes to developing a scheme, I mean, he had a nice scheme for that option. Big Woolfolk plugged up the middle. The linebackers played great. They played inspired. Big Chung. Just the whole, across the board, they just came to play. And I give New England a lot of credit. And mind you, they had the 31st ranked defense. The 31st ranked defense coming in. And like I say, the Broncos just couldn't move the ball. They couldn't get anything going. And again, they had a great run. It was great for, I guess, for football, because you got a lot of non-football fans that don't really follow the sport, kind of got wrapped up or enamored with Tebow. And, and he became a media darling. But it's going to be interesting to see what direction as an organization, what the Broncos want to go. I firmly believe you have to really consider picking up a quarterback in the draft or in free agent, because Tim Tebow, with that percentage rating and that quarterback rating, it's just not what you can. You won't have long-term success with him completing 9 out of 26 completions. That's just a recipe for disaster. And again, it's going to be very interesting in the offseason which direction John Elway and Mr. Bolin and the staff go for the Broncos. Today's game, again, another great day of football. First game, you had the Houston Texans playing against the Baltimore Ravens. Again, Houston has had a great season thus far. I give Wade Phillips, Gary Kubiak a lot of credit. I mean, Wade Phillips has always been, a great defensive coordinator, though. I mean, his version of the 3-4 has always been aggressive, been feisty. And again, you have the Baltimore Ravens. They've been the bullies on the block for a long time. Hall of Fame player Ray Lewis, Terrell Suggs, dynamic. Ed Reed, Hall of Fame player as well. And the rest of that defensive front. So again, it was a wonderful contest. Foster played valiantly. He ran the ball hard. And even TJ Yates, for him to be a third-string quarterback, I give him a lot of credit because, again, he didn't play scared. He just made some mistakes that you have to expect from a third-string quarterback being wrapped up or playing in this type of game of this magnitude, because it's you're going on the road, raucous crowd, top-ranked defense, and he just made a few little mistakes that ended the game, and it just and the Texans season came to an end. But you know what? Texans fans, you have a lot to feel good about. Y'all on the right track. I look for next year for y'all to even go deeper in the playoffs, and you're going to get Mario Williams back another year with that Wade Phillips defense, assuming that he stays and he doesn't accept a NFL coaching position. I think y'all will be a force to be reckoned with. Then you had the game that just ended. Wow, what can I say? You had Green Bay, Super Bowl champion, prohibited favorite, and you had the upstart Giants. This game was very similarly eerie to the last game when the Giants made their championship run when they went into Lambeau Field in that frozen weather, tundra, and they put off the upset. I was apprehensive at first. However, I felt the Giants had a chance. You had that front four that's very disrupted with Tuck, Umanura, Chris Canty. Underrated. He's been a nice, solid addition, for the Giants since he left Dallas Cowboys. And then, another thing people are not really looking at, the Giants secondary, they bend, but they didn't break. Aaron Ross, Rowe, and all them guys back there in that defensive backfield, I'll give them a lot of credit, though. They kept the Packers from making those big plays, and they made Aaron Rodgers go for 10 yards, 12 yards. And, again, it just wasn't the Packers' best day. They missed a lot of open balls, drop balls. It was just very uncharacteristic of them as a ball club. And a lot of times, sometimes the best team doesn't always win. It's just the best team for that day that wins. And I think that's another true case of what happened today. The Giants just had a little bit more in the tank. But I give Eli Manning a lot of credit. Hakeem Nicks a lot of credit. Victor Cruz, he has stepped up. Wonderful free agent addition. Undrafted. Played huge. Ahmad Bradshaw, what can you say? That run that set that Hail Mary, that was just like monumental. Classic Hail Mary catch by Hakeem Nicks. And they just came to play. Mario Manningham and Tom Coughlin, love him or hate him. He does have some inconsistent years. But when the Giants are totally in tune and they get totally behind their coach, he can really carry that ball club to where they can make a real deep run in these playoffs. And that's what they're doing now. So, again, next week, we have the Giants and the 49ers. It's going to be a great contest. Toss-up game. You can go either way. Again, I'm gonna pick the Giants by 3. It's going to be a close game. It's going to be hard hit. It's going to come down to turnovers as usual. Coaching, again, don't underestimate Harbaugh. He comes up with a good game plan. But at the same time, your boy Coughlin, he's been there. He's a champion. He's did it before. And Eli, he's a proven champion, MVP, and he's playing right now just as good as anybody at the quarterback position. Then we have in the AFC, we have the Ravens versus the Patriots. Wow. 2 great franchises. We all know the success that Tom Brady has had throughout the years. Him and Belichick, they will go down as one of the great coach-quarterback combinations. Then you have that Baltimore defense. Don't be surprised that they can really just disrupt that Patriot offense. You know, again with Ray Lewis, Suggs, Ed Reed. Also, I just think that for the Ravens to have a chance, they're going to have to establish their running game to keep Tom Brady off the field. So I'm going to go ahead and put it out there like this. I think the Ravens in the upset would beat the Patriots in the upset. I'll say 24-21. And again, I look for the Giants to upset the 49ers 28-24. And those are going to be our Super Bowl participants. But again, it's going to be great. It's going to be exciting. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. And again, Maserati Sports, we have the website coming. We have more interviews coming. Be on the lookout. You can reach me at rodg275@gmail.com. You can look me up on Facebook, Rodney Green. That's my real name. Just get at me. And again, I'm going to keep bringing it to you. Thoughts and remarks are welcome. So please, don't hesitate to get at me, though. So again, it's a wrap. See you next week.